Okay, so when I say the words Christian mission, what pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably stuff like commands, duty, things we have to do. But what if our whole way of thinking about mission is just a little bit off-center? We're going to dig into that, and we'll be using Christopher Wright's incredible book, The Mission of God, as our guide. It really is a whole new way to look at the Bible.
And Wright kicks things off from a place that's super relatable. He talks about being a kid, seeing these giant banners at missionary conventions, the ones, "Go ye into all the world," and hearing these fired up sermons about all those key go verses. That's what shaped his thinking. And honestly, it's probably shaped the thinking of millions of us.
So, naturally, this leads to a pretty common assumption, right? That mission is, well, it's something we do. It's this activity that the church is responsible for, and so we go digging through the Bible to find the verses that tell us to do it, to justify it. It basically becomes another item on our spiritual to-do list.
But what if that whole view, as common and correct as it might seem, is kind of like looking through a telescope the wrong way? What if the real issue is that we've been asking the completely wrong question all along?
And this is where things get really interesting. This is the big idea. Wright suggests that what we need isn't just a new answer. Nope. We need a totally new question. It's all about flipping the script on how we even think about the Bible and mission.
So check this out. It's a massive shift in how you see things. We stop asking, okay, what Bible verses can I find to support our mission? And we start asking, wait a minute, what if the entire Bible is missional at its very core? So instead of just looking for a few verses here and there, you start to realize the whole book, from start to finish, only exists in the first place because of God's mission.
Think about that for a second. The Bible isn't just a handbook for mission, it's the product of mission. It's the story, the living record of a God who is actively on a mission, a God who is engaging with his world and with people. And the most important part of that is, it's not really our mission to begin with. The main character, the star of the show when it comes to mission, has always been God. There's a fancy term for this. It's called Missio Dei, which just means the mission of God.
Okay, so let's break it down. The traditional way of looking at it, right? It sees mission as a human thing, an activity. It's something the church does, and we go to the Bible to get our marching orders. But if we reframe it, man, it changes everything. Mission stops being something we do and becomes our participation in what God is already doing. It's not a command so much as an invitation to join in on God's own mission to redeem and restore his creation. You see the difference? We're not starting some new project, we're jumping into a story that has been going on since the very beginning.
And what's so cool is that you can trace this flow through the entire Bible. It's like this golden thread. It starts with God having a mission for his creation. Then that mission is given to humanity. Then it gets focused on the people of Israel. Then, bam, it's perfectly embodied and fulfilled in Jesus. And now, it's extended through the church. It's all one single continuous story.
So if all that's true, well, it doesn't just change how we think about mission. It totally changes how we read the Bible itself. It's like someone handed us a brand new map for this familiar territory we thought we knew.
Yeah, the fancy term for it is a missional hermeneutic. But don't get hung up on that. Just think of it like a new pair of glasses or a really good map. It helps you see how all those bits and pieces of the Bible that can seem so random, the laws, the history, the poetry, how they all actually fit together into one giant epic story. And when you have that map, the Bible stops being just a collection of different stories and rules. Suddenly, it becomes this one seamless story that runs all the way from Genesis, page 1, to the very end of Revelation. It's the incredible story of God's mission to rescue and redeem everything he made.
And on this map, there are some pretty clear landmarks. First, you've got creation, a good world made for a good purpose. Then you have the fall, where human rebellion just shatters that purpose. Then comes redemption. This is God's massive, historical plan to fix what was broken, and you see it unfold through Israel and then hit its peak in Jesus. And finally, there's future hope, the promise that one day all of creation will be made new. That, right there, is the grand narrative.
Okay, so let's land the plane here. What's the big deal? Why does looking at the Bible this way totally change how we think about our own lives, our own purpose?
Well, this new viewpoint leads to a shift in thinking it's subtle, but it's huge. See, the starting point is no longer the church sitting around trying to figure out what its mission should be.
No, the starting point is that God has a mission in the world, and for that mission, he has a church. Get this, the church doesn't have a mission. God's mission has a church. Our entire reason for being as a community of people is to play a part in God's amazing, world-changing story of redemption.
And that just changes everything. Mission stops being this heavy chore, right? Just another thing on the to-do list to obey. And instead it becomes this incredible, thrilling invitation. It's an invitation to find your place, to find your part in the biggest, most important story ever told, the story of God making all things new.
So that leaves us with one last really important question. If the Bible truly is this one grand story of God's unstoppable mission to heal and restore the world, and if that story is still being written, what role are you going to play?